dark side.
2, 1, 0.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?
Wolfenstein 3D, released in 1992 on May the 5th, possibly the game that started it all. Wolfenstein 3D is a first-person shooter developed by ID Software, published by RPG Software. It was originally released as shareware, which is possibly something to do with why it was such a success. It allowed it to be copied and distributed worldwide. The game was originally on the PC and later ported to many other various home console systems. The original version, the shareware version, contains 1 episode which has 10 levels in that episode. The commercial version of the game had 3 episodes in total. This included the shareware episode and the 2 following episodes. Wolfenstein was an absolute runaway success. It's possibly the game that started the whole first-person shooter genre on the PC. There's so many games that followed on from this. Obviously you've got Doom, also made by ID Software, Quake, and so on and so forth. The stages are completed by reaching elevators at the end of the level, and this will basically take you on to the next stage. On your way you'll find various soldiers, Nazi soldiers. Each episode of the game is a different boss. This boss has to be killed in the final mission to complete the episode. Unlike normal enemies, boss enemies are drawn from one angle instead of 8, so the player cannot sneak up on them or take them by surprise when first encountered. They're always facing the player. Bosses are initially stationary, they don't become active until they see the player. When most bosses are killed, a replay called a death cam, which you obviously see in many modern games such as Call of Duty now, of the boss's death is shown. The episode then ends. In other levels, behind the boss is an exit from the stronghold. Internet causes the camera to rotate around to face Blazkowicz and show him running out and jumping in elation, complete with a freeze frame of him in mid-air. There is also 1 secret level per episode that can be accessed by the player uncovering a hidden elevator. The secret level of the 3rd episode recreated one of the original Pac-Man levels, complete with ghosts seen by the player from Pac-Man's perspective. The game was developed by John Carmack and John Romero. The game's development began in late '91 after ID decided on a vastly reworked Castle Wolfenstein. The team was able to use Wolfenstein title as Muse Software had let the trademark name lapse. ID Software pitched the concept to Scott Miller, founder of Apogee Software, who promised the ID team $100,000 in funding to deliver a shareware title. By the end of 1993, sales of Wolfenstein 3D had reached over 100,000 units, vastly exceeding the shareware game sales record set by the developer's earlier Commander Keen series, and providing ID with a significantly higher profit margin than sales of the retail counterpart Spears of Destiny. Wolfenstein 3D was well received by reviewers upon its release and over the subsequent years. The game twice received 5 out of 5 stars. Due to the game's use of the Nazi symbols, the anthem of the Nazi Party as theme music, the PC version of the game was withdrawn from circulation in Germany, which is obviously no surprise, in 1994, following a verdict by the Amtsgericht München on January 25th, that was probably said completely wrong, 1994. Despite the fact that the Nazis are portrayed as enemies in the game, the use of those symbols is a federal offence in Germany, unless certain circumstances apply. Similarly, the Atari Jaguar version was also confiscated on December 7th, 1994. Due to concerns from Nintendo of America, the SNES version was heavily edited. All swastikas and Nazi references were removed. Hitler, who was also a boss in the game, had his moustache removed and was renamed Staatsmeister. Blood was replaced with sweat to make the game seem less violent. For SNES copies distributed in Germany, the enemy blood was turned green. Attack dogs were also replaced by giant mutant rats. Employees of ID Software are quoted in the official Doom player guide about the reaction to Wolfenstein, claiming it to be ironic that it was morally acceptable to shoot people, but not dogs. The opening music was also changed. Without Wolfenstein 3D, we may have never have seen the game Doom, and this vastly popularised the first-person shooter genre, which allowed it to evolve to where it is today. Wolfenstein 3D, May the 5th, 1992.